Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech Show. Coming up on this week's show, we talk a little bit about the XCO from Albstad. Henry checks out some new balls. There's some Bontrager lightweight stuff, and there's some wicked stuff from you guys. All right, straight into news then, and obviously we've just had the recent XCO, so the first one of the year from Albstad in Germany, won by Kate Courtney, which I'm quite happy about actually.
Yeah,
it was really good to see her little rise to fame last year. Got to say, when I saw it the first round when I went out with Dan the cameraman, and she was in her first race of the XCO in the elite class, and I thought her riding was amazing, but she wasn't quite on it. I don't know if it's the shock of jumping up the class, but obviously by the end of the year she did it. But the thing that's really standing out now is more people using dropper posts. Again, we touched on this last year, and now they're basically clearly using them. In particular, Neff, who got the second, and Courtney, who got the first. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing, the dropper post on cross-country bikes, because I think what people sometimes forget is that once you put a dropper post on the bike, there's some, because the technical level is so high now, and they then hit stuff so hard, which sometimes means they have to then run heavier tyres or heavier rims. So
where do you stop?
Yeah, the weight penalty of having the dropper is actually quite marginal.
Yeah.
But the weight penalty of the associated, because you can just, and you often don't actually gain climbs.
I'm fairly sure Nino Schurter said something exactly along those lines.
Yeah.
Because you'd outdo the capability of the bike.
Yes.
But there's got to be a cause for safety as well. Because riding those bikes with minimal grip and the riding position is not always ideal, depending on what brand you're riding.
And it's just how shallow the tread is that I can't get over. It's just like pretty much sandpaper, you know?
They can make it stick though.
Yes.
You know, looking at certain riders like Van der Poel, managed to claw back the second place in the men's. He was running a hardtail with no dropper post, and he's clearly used to muddy conditions coming for cyclocross, and I think he actually said on his Instagram it's perfect conditions for him.
Yes, yeah.
You know, which I think some other races would have been like, what the?
But I think Nino Schurter is a great example of when we talk about riding technique. He's not just in the attack position, but to the nth degree, and his back is parallel to the ground.
Well, it's like the bikes for Nino, I think of all the riders, are like almost purpose built for him.
Yes.
And anyone else can fit on them, that's great. But but he does look like the perfect form on a bike, I think. And he clearly rides it well, but not so well in this race, unfortunately.
Interestingly enough.
I struggled to watch him struggling, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very, from going, was it the season before last, having that perfect season, he kind of almost had that awe about him. And you think when people lose, similar to Aaron Gwyn when he got injured in Fort Bill, it's once they're kind of the crack in the armour, and I don't know if people will capitalise on that or not. Only time will tell, but they certainly have already this season, I guess. Yeah,
and it's a mixed bag with the sort of tech on the bike. So going back to Kate Courtney, it's quite cool to see. I think you pointed out she's got one of the little blip bots on the bars instead of running the access control. So she's got the Scott twin lock remote flipped and underneath on the bar, so it looks quite neat.
And hasn't that always been a drawback of the Scott? It becomes like the spaghetti junction.
That's right. Yeah. To be fair, I couldn't stand the way it looked when we were riding Scott bikes, but I loved the way it worked.
Yes.
And it was always hard to try and find that compromise. Yeah. So it's quite cool to see what a mechanic, BB Copeland, or AKA Brad,
actually cut it out of the grip, similarly you would do on drop handlebars with the sprint shifters.
Joe, if I get access, I'm so doing that. That looks so trick.
Totally. It does look amazing. Yeah, it looks very, very good. And then you had Yolanda Neff, also on a hardtail, with the ISO speed, which is basically it decouples the seat tube from the top tube and stays.
Kind of almost like a soft tail, really, but I guess more when you're sat down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's often quite a lot of more compliance than people would think in down tubes.
Yep.
You know, and in the seat space, so it can do all that.
Enabling the bike to flex.
Yeah, it's giving it somewhere to go, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, you could certainly see something was right with her descending. I thought she was hitting that downhill as fast as anyone. It was unbelievable, I thought. But yeah, there's other riders in the top 5, Anne Talbot and Jana Bellamogna, both riding hardtails with extremely steep angles and no dropper post at all.
Yes.
And I know Anne actually crashed in the race. But I mean, to be fair, conditions, you can't really point this at anything. It was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, they were gnarly.
But Bellamogna clawing her way back from the back of the pack, really. So I think she was like 31st off the grid.
And what I find so interesting is some of these cross-country bikes in these steeper courses, the stems are so aggressive but they have their Garmin mounted on the stem, so they must have necks like giraffes just to see it. Do you know what I mean?
It's quite a road sort of
It's almost
almost
under their feet, you know?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, but very cool to see. And also spotted, actually, on the bike of Carlos Coloma. So he's a Bontrager racer. He's got a big handlebar tash. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
He's got a specialised command post on there. And his bike must be a 27.2 because it's got a weird tapered design.
Yes.
I've seen these pop up before, but not on those guys' bikes. And that's quite interesting because he's never really run a dropper post. And I think last year, towards the end, he started using one.
Yeah, I think it would just be the Specialized, then KS do a 27.2 dropper.
That's right, yeah.
But they're thin on the ground in terms of what you can get.
It has a tapered unit, though, to fit more inside. Yeah. I think that's quite a cool approach.
I wonder if that's got any damping properties in terms of comfort as well. Similar to the Cannondale Save Seat posts or something like that.
Yeah, possibly.
I imagine it's quite a stiff chassis, but maybe.
Be quite interested to get older one to have a look at.
Yes,
it's a cool idea.
Also this week we have released from Bontrager the Covey XXX ultralight wheels, which are a pretty remarkable piece of kit. They're actually lighter than a lot of high-end road wheels. I think
what sort of weight we're talking here?
Combined is 1292.
Is
for
that
29.
29 wheels. Wow,
yeah, and
that's
it's crazy
extremely light.
Because the internal rim width is 29 mil, so it keeps on that trend.
Decent width.
Yeah.
We're
talking about that trend of how hard cross-country riders push their bikes.
Yeah, and they're running wide rims and soft tyres now.
That light is crazy. It's I don't even know how they've done it. It's black magic as far as I'm concerned.
That is unreal. So I know the rims that Nino is running. He's running 30 mil XMCs or XRCs. I forget which model he's running now, but they're around 1400, something like that. But wow, so 1200.
Yeah, and it uses DT internals, double ratchet, 54-star engagement.
Good stuff.
So yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, we started seeing some of that Bontrager stuff on some of the Team Trek bikes last year, actually, and it was a real trick. I remember looking at Anton Cooper's bike, a tiny diddy little thing.
Yeah.
That looked rad, almost like a four-cross bike.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, he rides it like a four-cross bike as well.
He does. And finally, news. Some news on a new prototype Bulls bike.
Yes, this is Christian Texter, and I mean it's quite a remarkable looking bike. It's got kind of a cookies and cream sort of colour scheme. It's very kind of contemporary, what we all expect now. 29er, 160mm, yada yada yada. The reach for a large is 470, and that goes up to 490 for an XL.
That's not too bad, yeah.
But what I really like about it is, I always yammer on about it, but how integrated it all looks. And what they've done is above the bottom bracket shell, they've actually made like a little cubby hole that's open-aired just to put a tube in.
Did they name it Enduro Storage?
I bloody hope so.
Everyone's got somewhere for a banana and a tube these days.
Totally.
Now I've seen these pictures.
And
actually,
it does look so good.
It does look really good. It's a great use of that space. It's dead space really.
And what I like about it, similar to the Forbidden, what's that bike called? The short travel 29 with the high linkage. Forbidden Druid.
Yeah.
Bam. Got there in the end.
He got there first.
But they've actually designed that so when you wash it, it flushes all the dirt to the back of the bike.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Similar with this Bulls, I think. I hate it when you clean a bike and you end up with like pools of water places and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It should all just come out.
Scott Genius had that as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the shock was flipped so you could allow the internal cabling for it, and it had a little vent port so when you wash the bike it didn't pool, it would drip out. So yeah, smart idea.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome to Bike Cave. This is where you keep your bikes, where you lock your bikes up at night, where you tuck them in under the duvet, where you work on that broken chain that's been annoying you. If you've got a great bike cave, take some photos of it and send it into our uploader. The link is at the bottom of the screen there. It's super easy to use. Just make sure you fill in all the little sort of form bits and pieces there. Tell us where you're from, about yourself, all that sort of stuff. So first up this week is from Carlos in Mexico. Now this doesn't look like the normal sort of bike cave. This looks more like a bike shop.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I in fact thought it was a bike shop. It's so it's better stocked than a lot of bike shops I've worked.
In fact, Carlos actually says the name of my home workshop is something like the Flat Tire Bike Workshop. So he's working on his own bikes and his friends' bikes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, he's got a serious amount of stuff going on here. So he's got all his 20 weight gold oil, so lower leg lube and all sorts of stuff in there. Float fluid, a lot of Fox related stuff in there. And look at all that park tools on that pegboard.
Yeah, totally. He's even got those little ratchet socket spanner heads.
Ah, yeah,
so
tidy.
useful.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, your Vice doesn't match, Carlos. You need to get on the case with that. I mean, you could say it matches the Specialised certificate to the left. In which case, we'd let you off of that. But I'd probably get it painted blue.
But he's got the heavy hitting like headset presses.
Yeah, it's got a whole lot. Yeah, nice. For sure.
Solid work.
You've got everything else in the world in there as well. Motorex lube, Slickoleum, so fork seal lube there, grease even. brake fluids, mineral stuff, fibre grip, ceramic grease, just about every possible type. And your favourite, Henry's got some paintbrushes for application down there. So he knows his business. Nice one, Carlos.
The only problem with using paintbrushes is that every time you use one, someone will go, oh, Picasso, and you're like, this is really good.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone.
I said about the Fox stuff, but it looks like he's got all the RockShox spares in the world, including the old calamari on the right there. Whole lot going on. Inner tubes too, and headset spares, Loctite, all the bearings in the world in there. Some pretty old bearings there by the looks of it. Loads of tiny, I'm guessing they're little chain lube taken with you when you're riding.
It's very sort of stocked how you expect a shop.
It does look much more like a shop
Must
than
be
a
doing
home
some of
bike
the
cave.
old cash under the till.
That's all right, as long as it keeps the bed propped up. Looks good. Wicked, Carlos. Thanks for sending that.
Yeah, nice
there.
man. That's solid.
Okay, next up is from Amelia in Michigan. Here it is, my do-it-all workbench, loaded up with my new Park Tool set and Park Tool Bench wall mount bike stand. Bike stand's so compact I can still use my button press and tabletop without it looking super cluttered. All my other tools as well for upholstery and costume making fit on the shelves underneath. Well, this is super
Sounds
functional.
like you do a lot of things from costume making.
A lot of DIY stuff.
I mean, you've got a similar setup at home, haven't you? For your lapel jackets and 80s retro kit.
Yeah, I have to take up Blake's trousers because he has to buy child size ones. Yeah, it's all in there. I was finally able to finish my drivetrain to get this dropper post working normally again. Keep up the great videos. This is awesome, Amelia.
It's so functional. I love the little power.
Do you know what? I've often
middle.
thought about doing a bench-mounted work stand because I've got one of the full pro spec stands that we use in our workshop, and they're really, really good.
Well, la-dee-da.
It's worth the money.
No, they are.
It's a good stand. Like my last work stand literally got knackered, and I had that since I was 15.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good lifestyle lifespan on them. But I quite like the idea of not having it in there because it takes up a lot of room.
I think they're super tidy. However, my worry is when you're working on the bike on the drive side.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just get that set of plot.
You have to reach past it.
Yeah.
I think in this case it probably works out for her.
It's probably got enough reach, yeah.
Yeah.
It does look really good. That's one of the nicer ones. It's so compact. Everything's there. Super nice.
I guess your other solution is you have like a rolling cab with all your tools on and you just roll it around. And
yes, true.
You can delve into both.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks really good. Nicely put together. Good tool wall at the back there. I like your little neon sign. Your little bicycle artwork. You've got your live in the stand there. I'm glad to see that you're quite happy to put your bike in the work stand by the dropper post.
Yeah.
Another fan of doing it that way.
Yeah, same as long as you're careful.
As long as it's clean.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fine.
Absolutely fine.
I think you said it a while ago, actually. You were joking that some people are like, oh, just put a rag around it. They've got a rag that's covered like
totally.
off and stuff
totally.
And clamp it. And you're like,
man, no,
don't do that.
So frustrating.
I think the rule is, as long as you're careful, you don't over clamp it, you don't put too much stress on it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, in fact, actually, shout out to Seth over at Seth's Bike Hacks. He did reference something like this in a video a while back about letting the bike just dangle to its natural angle. So the front wheel, basically is going to hit the floor and take a bit of stress.
Also, I think it's important that you do your seat post at full extension.
Yeah.
I hate when you see people just pulling on the IFP.
Yeah.
And especially when it's like, on those like multi-bike storages and it's just... No need. It just makes my skin crawl, eh?
But awesome setup, Amelia. Thank you so much for sending those in. Please continue to send pictures in of your excellent bike caves. All right, now is one of my favourite sections of the weekly GMBN Tech Show. This is Rewind, where we get to take a look at the old stuff from yesterday. We've got all this stuff to thank for all the excellent stuff we have today. So that's why I like taking a trip down memory lane. If you've got anything old, could be anything like this book I'm going to show you in a little while. Take some photos or tell us about it. Tell us the stories behind this stuff. Upload a link is right there, or alternatively, you can email us at hellotech@gmbn.com. What you got for us, Henry?
So we have a pretty out there bike. It comes from Vincent and it's a 1996 Trek Y, which is a cool bit of kit.
They're an amazing bit of kit.
However, and this is just plain devil's avocado, this one's a bit of a wild beast. We've got...
Tread carefully, my friend.
He's actually done a lot of work in terms of renovation. He's done fantastically, but I do have some style choices that I would question. The bottom bracket. I think I could walk underneath there without even, stooping.
It does look fairly tall, doesn't it?
It's significantly higher than the axle.
So is that a 29-inch wheel on the front?
Yes, 29.
Well, 29, but I'd like to see he's still gone for a tamel to match the smoke back there.
And actually, I think it looks really good. I think it actually maybe comes more from the shock, perhaps being longer than the original.
69?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But I think it comes from the eye-to-eye of the shock being bigger, which has propped it around further. Yeah. Like you used to get on the old big hits when you wanted to make them like real free-ridey.
Yeah.
Let's get this bottom bracket sky high.
Ah, right, okay. So it says the first picture is how I got it in its 26-inch glory.
Yes.
Do you know, I rode one of these last week. I'll show you a little picture of this afterwards, and we'll get to that in a minute. But those bikes, for those of you that don't know, back in the day, so they're carbon fibre monocoque front end using Trek's OCLV, Optimum Compaction Low Void, I think it stood for. And it's got a unified rear end, so the bottom bracket is part of the back of the bike, effectively. So there's a pivot in the middle, so you could run a single speed because the chain length didn't change.
And they'd pedal amazingly
when you stood up.
And
when you sat down, it feels like a suspension bike, basically. So a peculiar thing that thankfully has been left in the past, mostly.
And actually, like, pioneering
at the time,
carbon front end.
That bike, when it came out, suspension was heavy, and people didn't like suspension. But what Trek did with that was made a bike, because it was aimed at XC to start with, it only weighed 1.5 pounds more than the top of the range hardtail carbon XC race bike.
Wow, yeah.
So really, for them to do that then, despite the fact it had issues, phenomenal.
And it's funny actually, because people always complain with mountain bike, they change too much, this changes, that changes. And actually we have a frame here that's handle to dropper post.
Yep.
He's got a modern group set on there.
Yep.
He's got modern wheels, modern forks, modern brakes. And it's like, the changes are incremental, but if you basically just spend an extra little bit of time picking out your parts, you can make most stuff run, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's really cool what you've done, Vincent. I mean, not too sure about your BB height, but if you're happy with it, that's the main thing.
Totally,
if you enjoy riding it, then that's awesome. You've spent some time and some money modding up an old bike. I think it's wicked.
And actually, I think it is accentuated. I think you might have an oval chainring on there.
Yeah, it does look
which makes the chain line look higher compared to the... If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
I think if we ran a shorter stroke shock on that, it would be really, really tidy. That's my only qualm. And who am I to say? Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So I'm a bit of a secret lover of this. I think it's quite cool.
Just
the BB height is not doing it for me, Vincent, but it does look wicked. And I'm really pleased to see you still riding an old frame. And I'm just going to throw on screen a quick photo of myself last week on another version of this bike. In fact, this one was a box fresh, virtually 1994 Y33. I'm going to say it's a Y33. You're going to find out more about that on a GMBN video over on the main channel at some point fairly soon, so keep an eye out for that. So I was having a bit of a sort out in the loft at the weekend, because I've got a lot of bike stuff of various different eras, and I found something that actually came out on the 29th of March 1992.
Well, actually, I thought you forgot. Okay. Oh, no worries.
I wasn't talking about you. Talking about this old retro bicycle book. So this is by Richard Ballantyne and Richard Grant. This was like a bit of a Bible for me when I was growing up, because there's so much information on it. And it's quite cool, actually. I'm just going to take you through a couple of things in the book. So they've got this cool thing they call Bicycle Anatomy. And actually, I think this has inspired me to do some cool stuff with you, Henry, on the channel. Now have a look at this. It's totally stripped down the mountain bike. And the bike itself is quite cool. It's an old Trek 8900 Pro, the carbon tube's bonded. But taking apart every part of a bike. I wonder how many parts of a bike there actually is.
Yeah.
If you include spokes and nipples and bearings and...
I think it would be really cool if me and you've got to sit down with a pen and paper and we've got to list every part and see if we can make a functioning bike out of the stuff we remember and what we forget.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a really good video in there, and it's really cool. It's really well displayed, and actually, I've still seen copies of this book floating around at car boot sales, and you can still get it.
Yeah.
And although the stuff in here is old, I still got cup and cone bearings, and the bikes are old. Everything they talk about is completely relevant.
Yes.
It's well worth getting a copy.
A lot of the principles are still the same.
Yeah.
We still use, mechanical shifting. We still use lots of things like that perhaps isn't so far. And a lot of these paint jobs are actually pretty much on point as well.
They're so 90s right now. Yeah, but there's some really cool stuff in here as well, like Mert Lowell's early linkage rear end, the flex stem, we've got one up on the wall up there. Early coil shocks from Cannondale when people were still playing around with rubber bands and stuff. It's just crazy just to look back at the stuff that's in these books. We've actually come so far from our ability to borrow from everyone.
Yes,
and there's also this. They call it carnival bikes. Now this gives me a great idea. Do you see where I'm going with this?
I've got an idea. Yeah.
Look at that! How many gears and stuff is going on in there?
God.
So I think we should build
but on
some
the outside.
crazy bikes.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Who can build the craziest bikes?
I want to build a pedalo. I want to go like a day's
Across
sailing
some water.
across a body of water. Well, we've got an amazing canal network around here.
Right, so what I want from you lovely lot is some ideas for myself and Henry to do with loosely associated mountain bike tech with some crazy challenges.
Yeah.
We want to do some really fun stuff, and if possible, we'd like to beat GCN Tech. We want to do some versus videos. So if you've got any great ideas for some collabs, let us know in those comments underneath.
Yeah, but GCN Tech, they're still battering on about rim brakes and...
I know.
You try it.
Oh no, they've got protectors for their disc brakes now.
Oh, that's
it's cute, isn't
very
it?
apt.
Aww. Okay, now it's time for Top Mods. This is all about the modifications that you guys make to your bikes to make them a little bit different from your mates or the one you bought off the shelf. Whatever it is, whatever you've done, it counts. It could be literally changing the saddle, or it could be a complete rebuild on an old frame. Anything you got, take some photos, tell us all about it. It could be a video, and send it to our uploader link right at the bottom of the screen. Cool. Okay, Henry, so what have we got first?
Sweet. So Sam has sent us in actually 2 bikes. We're going to talk about the first one, which is a Banshee Amp, which is kind of like, your dirt jump 4-cross style of bike, which I think looks absolutely unreal. I really like it. It's understated, it's classy, and it's got like accents of colour.
I see it's a chick sounds as well.
Yep, perfect territory.
Not a million miles from here.
Yeah, it just I think it looks great. He's also sent in kind of a real dream build, I suppose, a Yeti SB6. Now, it looks great, but what do you think about this? Gold drivetrains.
I think it looks pretty good.
You're keen on them? I think for Saudi princes or World Cup winners.
Oh, come on, look, it's going to Kashima. He's got a Yeti, it's a Yeti. So, Yetis, we all know, are kind of, they're no part to any rule.
Yeah, no,
it's a Yeti.
Fair.
So
maybe it's like the Pagani Zonda sort of hyperbike.
Yeah.
But no, it looks super tidy. I bet it rides great.
There is a rule with Yetis though, I do think. You can get them in black. Yeah, it's not Yeti. You can get it in orange, it looks amazing, but it's not Yeti. Has to be Yeti blue.
Yes.
Of which this one is.
Yeah.
And I see that Sam got this as a present from his wife for his 40th in October. You very, very lucky man, and happy birthday. P.S. If my wife is watching this, she's probably not. It's my 40th in July. Just clearing my throat.
Yeah, no, I thought you were. What size would you ride?
XL, always XL. Big wheels.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, cool. This one's really good. You're going to like this one, Henry. So this is from Nicholas in Montreal, Canada. Basically, the process he's done here is completely wrap his frame in automotive vinyl wrap, allowing us to change the colour of his bike without interfering with the stock paint.
Yeah.
So wrapping a bike is obviously a great idea if you do it new because it keeps it in good condition.
Yes,
just like you would with a car or anything else. Means if you're going to flog it later on. But also looks after it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Tell you what, there's good attention to detail. Like just looking at that head tube, the way you've done that looks fantastic.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's something like I would end up a bit like a fly in a cobweb. Do you know what I mean? It would just be I'd probably suffocate in the corner. He's done a super good job of it, especially by concentrating on the details, going for the welded areas first, and then going over the top.
Look at a finished job. Like, so it's inspired. So
solid.
Dan McCaskill style urban trials bike, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that that's not like a stock colour, really, would you? That looks really good, even with the inspired decals down by the BB there.
And although it's quite a kind of a pale green, it's a really deep colour, which I think is something you'd struggle to get just spraying it at home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It almost looks like a lacquered proper finish. It looks great.
Yeah, so you can actually get a better finish by not spraying it sometimes.
Totally.
I'll tell you what, dude, that looks amazing. You've even got how to wrap your bike. Cool. Do you know what? I like the idea of that. I think we might have to try doing our own sort of wrap at some point. I mean, that's really cool.
We could do one raw and one wrap.
Yeah.
Go different ways.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Awesome work, Nicholas. Thanks for sending that in, and great tip there to look outside the bike industry to automotive. Really good idea.
Yeah, super nice.
Okay, now it's time for Tech of the Week. I've got nothing this week, but I know that you have a couple of things.
So I'm actually, some people don't know this, the world's #1 Trickstar fanboy. I think.
As in the brake manufacturer.
Yeah, they're so cool. I went to their factory last year, went for a ride with them. Awesome guys. They've got such like a non-compromising approach. Like, I remember they have all their own brake jigs to test them. Yeah. And their brakes are so powerful, they'll often break break the jigs.
Do you know, I'll speak to Danny. I'll speak to Dan Afton.
Yeah.
Not Danny Afton.
Yes, they're on them now.
But it's because he had Rachel's bike out of Sea Otter,
Yeah.
and I've never actually felt the brakes in the flesh.
God,
they're fantastic. And he said that they're at first almost volatile, like they're so powerful to get used to that feeling of them.
Yeah.
But now he said he'd really struggled moving on from that.
Their pads also worth trying. Like, you'd be pretty amazed. But what they've got here is on their Instagram. They had a completely, basically the hoses, wireless shifting, wireless reverb, and then the hoses go into the handlebar.
Oh, getting rid of the hoses.
So nice. Like,
look
it probably is an absolute nightmare to set up. It's probably super frustrating cutting everything to length, but once it's done, it's done.
Look how good it looks.
And also, if everything's concealed within the bike, then you don't have hoses to snag, hoses to tear, so you're probably less likely then to need to replace them, if you see what I mean. And I think it just looks sensational.
I mean, something I noticed when we did the SRAM Access video was how neat a bike looked with just the 2 brake hoses. And I just thought, wow, imagine if we can get rid of those as well. I think we're heading that way, definitely. And to see that for trick stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did
so
see
nice.
Floating around out at Sea Otter, I saw Magura have got a handlebar, like sort of something behind the scenes. And they're working on something as well. So I think we're going to start seeing some more stuff.
I love it, especially like road bikes. You see it, you don't see any cables.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
And I'm really keen. Now we also have. Last week we talked about my homemade Garmin
Your
mount.
top mod, yeah, that's awesome.
which I was quite happy with.
Yeah.
But I got a message from 76 Projects.
Okay. Oh yeah, they make sort of loads of enduro.
And they have put me to shame. So if we could get like a little display on the screen, Henry Quinny 0, the people 1, like maybe make a ding. Poor Dan has got like a degree in music, and I'm asking him to make dings on a bike show. But honestly, it looks so good. It's actually reduced the stack height.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it looks even neater.
I didn't even consider it, but depending on your stack height, you could maybe even like scrape the Garmin.
Yeah.
If you send it around the wrong way.
Yeah, okay.
And it looks so neat. I've actually got one on my bike and I've been well and truly humbled. So maybe we'll have to have a running tally about how many times I get things completely wrong.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I like the fact that our World Cup mechanic, Henry, got outdone by bike brands, so we've already got something on the market.
It looks cleaner than my grandma's kitchen. It is unreal. It's so good.
Oh, well, there we go. There's another weekly GMBN Tech Show in the bag. I haven't got a video to throw you to, but there is a cool hacks video coming later this week. What have you got to throw us to?
Yeah, if you want to check out a very monotone approach to headset maintenance with this guy.
Sensible approach.
Yeah, my first essentials video is out.
Great.
So basically look at the anatomy of a headset, all the basics, and just go through step by step.
Something often overlooked, so check that one out down there. As always, don't forget to give us a huge thumbs up if you love what we're doing, and let us know what you thought in the comments underneath.